Alright guys, hi! Welcome to this week's episode of Technique Tuesday. This week we're going to talk about sculpting the face, or the head, in clay. Again, as we start to move into the sculptural aspects of ceramics, your artistry creation project might involve you having to make a head or a face, and I don't want you to be afraid to tackle a portrait for your artistry creation just because you don't know how to make a head or a face out of clay. So I'm going to go over the basics with you, and then again, just don't be afraid of it. You'll never know until you try.
This week's going to be a little different, guys. This is a really long process, so we'll be speeding up the entire video and narrating on top of it. So please watch closely. The first thing I want to point out is that I have a reference image. I'm not just doing this out of my head. You need to find an image to look at while you are sculpting. The first step is going to be just to shape the clay into the shape of a head. Heads are not spheres. They are sort of egg-shaped with a chin and a ball at the back of the head for the skull where your brain goes, the cranium portion. So make sure you shape the head correctly before you begin. The next step is going to be to figure out where you're going to place the features. Give yourself a center line down the center of the face. Eyes are about halfway between the top of the head and the chin, so make sure you place them correctly. A line will help you create a correct reference point. The other thing to know is that eyes are holes in your head, so push down on the clay to create an eye socket so that you can place the eyeballs in there correctly later. Always check your sculpture from the side. Look at the profile. Make sure that it looks okay from the side as well as the front. Remember that the nose sticks off the front of the face. You shouldn't just be carving a nose in. You need to attach clay to the head in order to get that nose shape. Check from the side again. Look for any areas that might need touch-up. Have a variety of tools nearby so that you always have the right tool for the job. Don't get trapped by not having the right tool and being too lazy to walk over to the bin and get what you actually need in order to do the job. So have a variety of tools nearby. Remove clay when you need to. Sometimes you just have too much clay and you have to take some away. Don't fight with it if there's too much clay present. Shape and smooth as needed. Here I'm adding clay because my chin wasn't large enough. Don't be afraid to add clay where you need it too. Just like the eyes, the mouth is a hole in your face, so put a hole in your project. The mouth is about halfway between the nose and the chin, so indent the clay to create the opening for the mouth. Then you're going to add lips on top of that. Take a small amount of clay, make a little snake or rope, make sure it's an appropriate size, and then attach. Now let's begin adding eyes. When adding eyes, you want to take a small, sort of football-shaped piece of clay and place it in the eye socket. Take a tool and press around the edges to create an eyeball and eyelids. Yes, this looks a little weird right now, but trust me, it's going to get there. Now, blend the edges of the eyelids into the eye socket so it looks like there is skin present around the eyeball. Your eyelids overlap in front of your eyeballs. Again, if necessary, remove clay. I added a little too much clay when I was putting the eyeball on and I had to take some off. That's okay, but you have to correct these things. Repeat this process on the other side. Add a small, sort of bean-shaped ball of clay into the eye socket. Use a tool to press in eyelids versus eyeballs, and then smear to create the skin around the eyes. Remove clay and add clay as needed. Add clay at the top of the head for the brow bone. Your eyebrows actually do stick off of your face beyond your eyelids. Add clay for the cheeks. Your cheeks have fat in them, and so they will be rounded and softened. You don't want to have a head with hollow-looking cheeks. Keeping a small bowl of water nearby will allow you to wet your tool and allow you to smooth as needed. From here, it's just a process of refining. Remove clay, smooth, add clay, refine, refine, refine. Make sure you're looking frequently at your reference picture and do what you need to do to make it look like the face that you're aiming for. Don't forget that faces have nostrils. You may need to remove some clay around the nose in order to get that nose shape. Once you've got everything roughed in, you can begin adding details like skin wrinkles, you'll notice that I removed the lips and had to start over. That's okay. Don't abandon it just because you have to start over in one area or another. Using a paintbrush to smooth out the skin, as well as a sponge, will help to achieve the look you're going for. When you're ready to form the iris or the pupil, you want to actually remove clay. Don't just draw lines in. Carve out a small circle in the middle of the eye. But remember that the iris is partially covered by the eyelids. If you can see the complete iris and the complete pupil in the middle of the eye, your face is going to look a bit crazy. Look at a friend or your reference picture to check on the size of the iris and pupil and make sure you get it accurate. The eyes are very, very, very important in terms of making a realistic, believable looking skull or head. Lastly, when it comes to adding hair, you can get away with carving directly into the skin of your face for hair like eyebrows and mustaches, hair that's close to the head. But for hair on top of the head, and probably most beards, you're going to want to add clay. Your hair sticks up off of the top of your head. It's not carved directly into your skin. So add clay to the tops of the head in sections, and then texture as needed. Remember the texture video from last week. Texture is very important in achieving the right look for your sculpture. Sculpting a head is not a short process. Mine took me 45 minutes. Watch what an expert can do.